Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. Before I get into the main topic of this video, there's a couple things I want to talk about quickly. The first one is thank you for all the positive comments on my video from Monday, in which I talked about an easy way to help other sports card YouTube channels out there by liking their video and helping out with the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff. I appreciate all the positive comments on it, and I hope you took the video as I intended it, that it wasn't to try to be some sort of self-promotion of my channel or asking you to start liking more of my videos. It truly was my intention to help promote other sports card channels there on YouTube, especially the smaller channels, as just a way to try to make them grow or help them grow. The reason why I bring this up is there was actually one person who disliked my video. Social media, what are you going to do? I guess there's always going to be haters out there, but I thought it was a generally positive video. It was intended to be positive. I don't know if that one person, again, thought I was trying to do some back-end self-promotion or making it about me and my channel. I don't know. Either way, my intent was to try to help, especially the smaller sports card YouTube channels out there, grow, and by doing something simple as clicking on the like button if you enjoyed watching their video. All right, the next thing is the New York Mets. Yes, they lost to the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm not upset because I didn't have any expectations of the Mets making it to the World Series this year. In fact, as the season started, if you had asked me at the beginning of the season, John, would you take a Mets season in which they made the playoffs, made it all the way to the National League Championship Series, and take it to 6 games in that series, and ultimately lose to the Dodgers? I probably would have taken that season and seen it as a success. And especially after the first couple months of the season, heck, at that point, I was just hoping for the Mets to get a 500 record by the end of the year. So, I think they exceeded a lot of Mets fans' expectations. You can't deny the magical playoff run that they had. They just ran out of the magic against the Dodgers. The Dodgers are a really good team, and they deserve to win. They played better than the Mets. So yeah, I'm disappointed, but I'm not upset of how everything played out. Now, for the World Series, you got the Dodgers against the Yankees. I guess at some level, I'm rooting for the Dodgers, just in the sense of saying, hey, well, the Mets lost to the eventual World Series champions. And of course, as a Mets and Red Sox fan, I have a hard time rooting for the Yankees. So I guess I'm rooting for the Dodgers, but honestly, I don't really care. I'm probably not going to watch many of the games. I don't know. Major League Baseball, of course, this is their perfect scenario. Even probably when they started this season, they said, hey, for ratings and all this stuff, man, it would be great to have the Dodgers and the Yankees, especially once both teams made the playoffs and the year that Ohtani and Judge were having. I know that this is the matchup that they want. In terms of baseball fans out there, I'm hearing a lot of comments of that this is not going to be very exciting for them. For the Yankees side, I bet you there's probably just as many Yankees fans as Yankees haters. The Dodgers, I don't know what their fan base is, but all in all, I just think that I'm not really going to be interested in the World Series and care to watch many of the games. All right, on to the main focus of this video. It's a response video, as I've been doing here, to Greg at Midlife Sports Cards. And for some reason, I've gotten like a week behind in replying to his questions. Every Monday, he does a video where he talks about the responses of the question that he asked the previous week. Well, the last week, he asked, he's going to be doing an interview with Dr. James Beckett with Darren, Return to Collecting. They do a show together, and they're going to be interviewing Dr. Beckett. Well, by the time this video airs, and he wanted to know if you had a question to pose to Dr. Beckett, and so he recapped some of the various questions that people put in the comments of possible questions to ask Dr. Beckett. Well, by the time this video airs, his interview with Dr. Beckett would have already been completed. So the question that I have here obviously won't be in time to ask Dr. Beckett, but I am going to ask the question and actually ask you to respond in the comments of this video, because I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Now, with Dr. Beckett, obviously he's known for his price guide, the Beckett baseball card and sports card price guides. So since those price guides came out, there's always been a heightened focus or awareness of card prices. Is this card going up? Is this card going down? Now, before price guides, obviously there were prices for cards. You'd go to a card show, and obviously cards were, selling for certain prices. All right. But the price guide itself brought prices, and especially prices going up or down for particular cards, more mainstream and to the masses. Okay. Even for those that weren't going to a card show or even their local card shop, even just, buying packs of cards from, a department store or wherever you could find them, at the time, you knew what relatively the value of those cards in your collection were. And that just, grew over time. And so my question to Dr. Beckett, which is actually, again, a question for you, is when did he observe the focus of pricing getting to the point where sports cards being considered investments or flipping for profit, when that sort of became a larger focus within the hobby? Now, I'm sure most of you, your gut reaction is going to be, well, COVID. Well, the pandemic started around 2020. And if you've watched some of my videos on the Vintage 100 Index, you know that I've been charting prices since 2019. And in 2020, I think maybe around March or April, you started to see prices go up. Now, we can get into a whole discussion of why, but basically there was stimulus money. A lot of people weren't working or working from home, and a lot more free time, and they had all the stimulus money. And so I think a lot of people just started buying sports cards. Well, when you have a lot of money into the hobby, finite number of cards, you're going to get higher prices. But that necessarily didn't, in my mind, start the whole investment craze or flipping for profit. There's always been trading within the hobby. Okay, so that's a little bit different than trying to trade up or sell a card for a profit and take that money and buy another card and try to make profit on that, or looking at cards and seeing them more as an investment rather than a collection. Now, I'm not putting down those aspects of the hobby. I think the hobby is big enough to support however you want to enjoy the hobby. But I was wondering what Dr. Beckett thought, and again, you think of when really that aspect of the hobby started becoming more prominent. Maybe it was maybe not 2020, maybe it was 2021. Maybe you can point to something that actually happened before that. I don't know. Would love to know your thoughts. And as a follow-up question, and this may be a little bit of a touchy question, I don't want to, again, turn this into, really bad comments or anything like that. But the follow-up question would be, long term, do you see the focus of sports cards as an investment or flipping for profit and trying to make money? I'm not talking about card dealers. There's dealers that have been around for forever. There's new dealers, and so there's ones that buy and sell, but that's sort of how maybe they fund their collection, or just as a way to make money. Some of you make a living buying and selling cards. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about looking at cards more as an investment and just flipping to make deals and constantly turning over inventory, not necessarily to make money, but just to make more deals. That aspect of the hobby. Long term, is that a good thing for the hobby or a bad thing for the hobby, and why? And try to maybe keep the comments respectful, knowing that, again, I don't want to be putting down any aspect of the hobby, whether you're in it as an investment, in it for pure collecting, anywhere in between. And maybe that's contradictory. I don't know, but would just be curious your thoughts as to whether this is something that would be long-term good for the hobby to grow, or could you see maybe some problems that could cause long-term, that could maybe push some other people out of the hobby? I don't know. Would be interested in your thoughts. Now to get to Greg's current question that he's asking. So what he wants to know is, what is the main reason why I collect sports cards? Now, I'm sure for most of us, we could probably list 5 or 10 things that we love and enjoy about this hobby, and collecting cards, buying cards, flipping cards, however you want to define your role or interest within the hobby. But he wants us to talk about the main reason. So the one main reason why we enjoy collecting sports cards. And for that, I'm going to maybe get a little personal. Growing up when I was a kid, I was pretty much a loner. I mean, I had friends, but they were in school. So while I was in school, I had friends that I hung out with and things like that. But then when school was done, I basically just went home and just hung out with my family. I didn't have many, close friends that I hung out with all the time, from the neighborhood or whatever. That sort of continued in college to some extent, although I wasn't doing a lot of collecting during my college days. But then I graduated from college and basically went back to my loner mentality, then got married, had a son, but that marriage didn't last too long, and found myself single again and pretty much a loner. I had, some what I consider friends, but not close friends, usually co-workers or some other people I knew, but really didn't have any close friends. Now I'm married again, but even now, I've always been a bit of a loner, and I'm okay with that. I'm not complaining. That's just sort of my nature, and I'm okay with that. So what sports cards have done, and baseball cards in my case, this is going to sound a little weird maybe, but baseball cards have always been that close friend of mine. That, as being a loner, I could delve into my baseball card collection. I could look at the cards, organize the cards, check out the value of my cards, build my baseball card collection. And I don't know, it just kept me company. Baseball cards have always been, since I was 6 years old, a large part of my life. And fortunately, my current wife puts up with it and deals with my collection and doing these YouTube videos and all that stuff. So I'm very thankful for that. But the main thing for me with my collection is it almost defines me to some extent. again, being such a large part of my life since I was 6 years old, and I'm 52 now, large part of my life and long-standing part of my life, and maybe has replaced maybe what a lot of you have in terms of some very close friends. I know a lot of you talk about, especially within the YouTube card collecting community, that hey, I text so and so every day. We talk on the phone several times a day, a week, things like that. I don't have, I have some of my core Wade Boggs, collectors, and we do chat, but it's for the most part just about Wade Boggs cards or recent pickups, things like that. Nothing too personal within our lives. It's kept within our collection. So, I've never really had that personal collection, a deep friendship or connection with even people outside of the hobby. So the one constant in my life through 2 marriages, a son, my job, everything, there's been one constant, and it's been baseball cards. And I think that's the main reason why I am so passionate about this hobby, why I love baseball cards, looking at cards, organizing my cards, doing analysis of cards and prices and all that stuff. I love it because it's just been such a long part of my life. I could look at a card that's worth 50 cents and enjoy it just as much as if it was worth $50 or $500. I just love cards, and it's been my escape, my friendship, if you want to go that far. That's been part of my life. So I know that may be an odd answer. I'm sure I may be the only one that answers the question this way, but I'd love to know what is your main reason why you collect sports cards. So Greg, another excellent question to ask to the sports card community. And with that, I think that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.